Hey guys, Snaphonic here with another deck check from the Tachikaze builder Amcam. Unfortunately, RPGcaster cannot be with us again today because we sent him out to get a cupcake for last week's video and he still hasn't come back. We're getting a little bit worried, but we're hopeful.
Yeah, if you guys have spotted him anywhere, please send us a photo or a video proving that he's alright to our Facebook page or have a video response on our YouTube channel.
Alright, so Amcam, let's just take a look at your Tachikaze Raptor build. So why the Raptor ride chain?
The Raptor ride chain, that's a very interesting question. The Raptor ride chain I decided to play because it completely changes the way Tachis are played from the original metagame. With the ride chain, which is basically very similar to the Riviere ride chain for Bermuda Triangles, it basically gives me a lot of +1s on field. So yep, ride chain, yep, like I said, similar to Riviere, except for the effects when you ride grade 2 over the grade 1 and grade 3 over the grade 2, which is instead of drawing a card, when you ride the 2 on 3 on top of its predecessing grade, you search for either the grade 1 if it's the grade 2 on Vanguard, or the grade 2 if it's a grade 3 on Vanguard, and you play it on one of the rear guard circles. So it fills up the field much faster, and it leaves my deck thinned for easier trigger checks.
Very interesting. So obviously the grade 3's Counterblast Limit Break is very, very appealing to you.
Yep, it is. It is a lot.
Obviously, you can hit big key numbers, also combo off with retiring abilities, and just keep the synergy of big beats flowing.
Yep, actually, yep, which is what the Raptor kernel chain does boast right now, especially with the grade 3's Limit Break, which is Limit Break 4, retire two rear guards from field, and add its face power value to the Vanguard, which is Raptor kernel. That alone means that you don't really need to boost Raptor kernel in order to hit key numbers. And if you do, it'll just hit for much bigger, and it will either force the opponent to take it or to probably use a null guard.
So obviously, it's a very cheap counterblast, so you can afford to run other heavy counterblast units in your deck.
Yes, because I'm no longer running a Death Rex, means whenever the Death Rex, I won't need to waste the counterblast every time my grade 3 Vanguard hits. So now I can use all my counterblast on the Limit Break, and at the same time I also use it to run Skype Tarot, which is very easy to get back into hand with just one counterblast. And
obviously it being a very, very big staple in the deck.
Yeah, it's been a staple since meta, and it's still a staple right now, guys. At the same time, so Skype Terror ends up being used as one of the cards that I use for the Limit Break of Raptor kernel. At the same time, I also have the Brachio series, which is a very interesting series because every time you retire one of the cards, at any turn actually, not just yours, you counterblast 1, and if you've got the grade 1 on field and that's what you retired, you call grade 2. If grade 2 is the one you retired, you call grade 3. If grade 3 is retired, you call grade 1, and you play it on one of the rear guard circles. So, if anything, if you can't use it for Raptor kernel's Limit Break, that alone ensures that your field is always full, even if it's your opponent attacking you.
So not only does it synergize with your Raptor kernel's counterblast by keeping the field full, it also deck thins the deck even more, which is what the ride chain does.
Exactly. So it keeps my deck small. Again, meaning that I can hit my triggers a lot easier. One of the problems though with the Brachio series is that why most people don't run it, or from what I've seen especially, is because it's of extremely low power, especially for the grade 1 and 2.
Yeah.
5k grade 1 and a 7k grade 2, nobody would usually run it unless it has a really, really good effect, which is for the Brachio series and the Raptor kernel deck is a pretty good effect.
Alright, so now that you've taken us through your counterblast units, let's move on to some of the other bigger units of the deck.
Yep, so we'll start with the grade 2 ones. I run 2 Mega Rexes and 2 Cannon Gears.
Oh, so Cannon Gear's stuck around.
This Cannon Gear stuck around because he's still one of the best grade 2s in the game.
Oh, definitely.
With the base 11k power. And, I mean...
with an ability that helps synergize with the deck as well.
Exactly. And if anything, if I can use Cannon Gear to chain it with the Brachios as well, in order to get a third hitter in front row. Especially if I only have 2 grade 1s on my field and I have no use for them yet. So I don't run 4 because if I had the feeling that if I ran 4 of Cannon Gear instead of 2 and 2, it would be a lot more counterblast dependent.
Yeah.
So I opted for 2 and 2 because 10k is still pretty good for grade 2, and yeah,
so
big numbers.
You can't expect to counterblast heavy every turn, and if you don't have the counterblast, you're going to lose a unit due to the retiring abilities.
Exactly. And then my biggest hitter, or actually not my biggest hitter, but my favorite card of the deck is Dark Rex because of its effects. I'm pretty sure everybody knows now what the effects of Dark Rex are, but if you guys don't, I will just remind you again. Dark Rex effect is its first effect is you can send Dark Rex from your hand to bind zone, and when that happens, you can choose one card on field and give it plus 3k power.
And it stays there, it doesn't come back.
Yeah, and it stays in bind zone for the rest of the game, unless you use its second ability, which is the Limit Break ability. Limit Break 4. If your Vanguard's attack this turn does not hit, you may retire 3 of your rear guards to superior ride Dark Rex from the bind zone.
Mm-hmm.
So
obviously that's a stand on the Vanguard as well.
Yeah.
And then it gives you an extra twin drive.
Exactly. So it fills your hand up as well. At the same time, if you can get it to combo with the Brachios, that usually means, especially if you have 1 of each on field, that usually means you get an extra 3 hits on that turn. You get to superior ride Dark Rex. So far in the games I've played this past week, I've managed to get to superior call Dark Rex twice in 1 turn.
Wow, that's impressive.
By comboing it with Brachiosaurus. And that was probably the best game I played with this deck so far.
Well, obviously it's doing what you want it to do, and obviously that's why we build the decks.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a very different play style and it's a very different build, I'm sure. And I'm sure, like as you saw in like one of the previous games that you did last week, people got to see what the deck can do, and with like lesser units such as the Brachiosaurus, which are underlooked.
Yeah.
So not only you can play just a little smaller amount of those cards and still make it work.
Yeah.
And obviously those cheap counterblasts as well.
Exactly.
So it all just synergizes well, it deck thins well, and it just does what you need it to do.
That's it.
So obviously, I see you're playing the maximum amount of null guards as well.
Yes, I am.
So obviously, you can explain that, I'm sure, as you take us through your trigger lineup.
Yep, I'll start with my trigger lineup, and then I'll move to my nulls and explain why. My trigger lineup for this deck is 646, 4 being the mandatory number of heals for most decks, and then I'm running 6 critical triggers and 6 draw triggers. So I'm not running any stands at all in this deck, because I like to have the benefit of like the ability to keep my deck a lot smaller than the meta touchy game. At the same time,
you're not going to really be standing big units as well because of the Brachio series as well. If you have those on field, it's not going to be worth standing because of the low attack power.
Exactly, and at the same time, because of the effects of both Raptor Colonel and Dark Rex,
you're going to be
I'll be retiring a lot of my rear guards. So, now it comes down to the nulls. I'm still running 4 nulls as per original meta build. The reason why I'm still running 4 nulls is because the number of 10k guards and because of the number of 10k guards on my deck, which is the 6 I'm running 6 draws at the moment.
Yeah. So
basically the nulls have replaced my 10k guards, and because at some point in time I will have a lot of null guard fodder in my hand.
Yeah, so you have the draws to pitch, you'll have the grade 3s to pitch, because you are playing 8 grade 3s and the 6 draws, so you're going to have a lot of cards to pitch.
Exactly. And all in all, it's been really fluid. It's been working out very well for me.
Well, there you go, guys. So you've heard it from the deck builder, and you've heard it from some of my opinions, but let alone you've seen what this deck can do, and now that you've seen its actual build, I'm sure you can take it away, use it as a template or something, and just I hope it helps you with any of your ideas. So thank you, and we hope to see you again.
If people do use my build to they want to test it out or anything, I don't mind. But if you do, if you could please leave comments or suggestions on how you think my build can be a lot better. And if you do use my build as a template, please let me know how it goes for you, because I want to know how the rest of the community does it.
So yeah, please subscribe and keep following us on YouTube.
Thanks guys, and help us find Shannon.